to our second office hours edition. I'm very quite thrilled to be here and to have participants from around the globe joining us today. If you're new to the office hours, just to confirm what this is, it's basically these are HR sessions where we discuss topics around Nakisa HR Suite, how it can be used to address specific business challenges. There are multiple HR use cases that we always see for global enterprises. And these sessions are designed for Nakisa HR Suite users, whether you are an administrator, an HR business partner, an HR manager, a manager, an employee, you can greatly benefit from these sessions. And if you aren't an HR Suite user yet, you can still appreciate how we address, how the suite can address some of these business challenges that you're about to see. Today's topic is around custom chart views, display options, and dashboards. And again, don't worry if you are not familiar with any of these. I'll be explaining these concepts in detail as we go. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sherif Luca, and I'm a solution engineering manager at Nakisa, based out of Germany. I had the privilege to actually meet and work with most of you. Some of you I've met in person, some of you I've met virtually. And if we haven't met already or before, just have my contact information here displayed for you. So feel free to connect to me, send me an email or LinkedIn. And I'll be very happy to discuss any kind of topics on your mind, or even you can just simply provide me feedback on how you want certain topics you want to see in the next office hours or user groups. Okay, so there are three main topics in today's agenda, starting with custom views. Second one is custom display options and custom dashboards. As always, I will do my very best to leave time for Q&A at the end of each portion of my sessions. I strongly encourage you to post any questions you have in the chat at any point during the presentation. And Daria and I will do our best to keep an eye on it. And if for any reason we run out of time and we don't address or some questions remain unanswered, we will make sure to respond by email. So with that said, I find the best way to present these concepts is through a real business use case. So, you know, I talk to clients, I talk to prospects all the time. I get requirements all the time, and sometimes we need to think, how can we solve and address these needs? So what I want to do is do the same kind of, take the same approach. So I explain a business requirement and then do a live demonstration in the solution itself of how we can address these business needs and objectives in Nakisa HR Suite. And based on the scope for today, you will see me toggling back and forth between the administrator console, which is what we use to do configurations. So that's what your system administrators who have access to Nakisa HR Suite admin console will be using for configurations, and the front end, which is accessed by your end users, who could be HR, could be managers, executives, could be HRBPs or employees, so that we can show the results of these configurations and check what the outcomes are. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So custom views is the first topic on the agenda. Before we talk about the business use case, let me start by defining what is a view. So custom views, these are views that we define and create, but we have already a number of different views already available in the Nakisa HR Suite. And these views basically showcase different types of information in the org chart box. Why do you need that? Because you may want to be doing, you may be doing certain HR processes. Maybe you're looking at talent assessment, in which case you want to look at your talent tracking. What is the performance rating, talent assessment rating, risk of loss information? You may want to do succession management. You want to look at your successors within the chart box. You may want to optimize your organization. You want to look at various KPIs such as span of control, depth, layers, headcount, etc. So depending on your data model, you will have different views available for different types of objects, such as org units, positions, and/or employees. And the content of these views will also slightly vary based on your implementation. We have multiple different clients in different industries. You may enable certain views, disable some views, completely entirely up to your business use cases and your business requirements. So custom views are, in certain situations, sometimes it's not enough what comes out of the box or what has been configured for you based on best practices or based on your needs. And there is a requirement that came up from business that says I need another view where we display field A, B, and C in exactly in that order, for example. So instead of contacting Nakisa Professional Services to do the work for you, well, your administrators can do this work on their own. So if you follow this presentation and listen to the video recording at a later point, you'll be able to perform these types of configurations directly on your own. So let's look at a business requirement. Business requirement is saying that we have a need to display. We are a global organization. We have a lot of contractors, consultants, expats working for the company, and I want to be able to display a view in my positions, in my position boxes where I show the position title, the name of the employee, the picture of the employee, and I want to display the employee class. So employee class, depending on the ERP you have, could be related to an employee or could be related to the position. An employee class could be, active, could be expatriate, could be intern, could be contractor, consultant, apprentice, etc. So there are different employee classes that are available. And depending on the ERP, you may have it at the position or the employee level. But the business also wants to have a lot of analytics displayed within the org chart box. Okay. The second requirement, to just make it a bit more interesting, is that we need to have color coding, conditional formatting, where contractors are displayed in yellow, expatriates are displayed in blue, apprentice in orange, and for those who have maybe some of our colorblind users, they may struggle with these color codes. Maybe it's better to have also an icon that represent these different types of positions. Okay, so again, the requirement is very simple. And what is the solution? The solution is then to use this custom views that I will showcase right now. Okay, so custom views, in order for you to create it, you need to log on to the administrator console. And from the administrator console, you have the org chart settings. You need to toggle to the org chart node views. You basically select the object that is of interest to you. So in this case, we talk about positions. So I will select the position object, and this is where I add my custom view. So we have what we call the view designer, and I'm going to show you this live in the solution in the next 1 minute. You define the title of the view, you define the templates that you want to use, and there are different templates which I'm going to cover. You do the conditional formatting, and you do the display of icons. Now, a couple of notes that I wanted to emphasize here. When you create a custom view, that does not make it automatically available for everyone in the organization. In fact, you don't want that because sometimes it's sensitive information. Maybe you're displaying salary information. So there are some authorizations that are built in, pre-configured, depending on the template that you use. So if you select employee analytics, for example, as a template to display additional information, such as on the screenshot here, the very bottom one here, this is already secured only for HR people or specific roles that have access to this type of information. So this is very important. Now, if this is not sufficient for you, feel free to contact us, and then we can discuss how we can apply custom authorizations for you to enable the restriction of these views. The second thing is, before you start creating a view, if you know that you need to add icons, so upload the icons first, so that when you go to the view designer, you're able to select these icons from the drop-down menus and they show. If you don't do it, not the end of the world. You can go back, add the icons, and then go back to the view designer, and then it will work. And the last point I wanted to mention is that the next generation, and you may have seen a demo with my colleague Nav Tathgar in product management, where she showcased our next generation HR suite. And you can see that the end users can actually define the views which are specific to their needs, where you can add as many fields as you need in order to meet the specific use cases that you're working on. So without further discussing this, I want to show you this live in the demo. So I'm going to load the Nakisa Administrator console, and we'll go, I'll show you case how you can add these custom views. So this is the admin console, and I'm logging in as an administrator. You will see a different settings available here. You should be able to see these types of settings, so application settings, org chart settings, etc. As we talk about custom views, I want to start with maybe custom images first, custom icons, and this is where you upload your custom icons that you created. So the icon for contractor and the icon for expat, I already have them on my desktop here. You can see them. I take these two files, I zip them, and then I upload the zip file, and this will allow me then to upload these two icons. But since I've already have them, you will see here that there are two custom icons that I've already uploaded. With that done, the next step would be to go into the org chart settings. And within the org chart settings, there's a bunch of options. We are talking about views, so you will have to select the org chart node views. Then you would select the view in question. So right now we want to manage the position view designer. So this is what I will select. And I'm going to do it for you from scratch so that you can see it's a very simple configuration. You simply create new view. You define the template that you want. So there are a number of pre-configured templates that you see here on the left-hand side. Now, the business requirement says I need employee analytics. So that's why I will choose the template for employee analytics. I will give this view a name. In this case, I will just call it employee class. This is the view that I'm creating. If you have different captions, you will also need to define what the text is for the different captions. We need to have color coding. So first of all, before we do the color coding, let's add the portrait because this is one of the requirements. Let's add the position title because it's also required based on the business needs. I will also add the employee full name as well. And I would like to add the employee class field, which is here. If you need to add a field which is not in the drop-down menu, this means that you need to configure the data management to bring it in. This can be done through integration if you are SuccessFactors or SAP HCM or Workday. If you are using any other ERP or the data exists in an Excel template, you can upload the data via Excel and attach it to one of our custom fields. But we've already done an office hours on that. So this was our first office hours edition. If you want a refresher on that, I would strongly recommend you going back and listening to that video recording. So going back to this, I've added the fields that I'm interested in, and then comes the background color. So the background color is very easy to do. You're going to base this on conditional formatting of the employee class field. You basically create a new background sort of view designer color. And in this case, I will call it employee class view designer. And here it's as simple as saying if there's no value, then make it don't display any different colors. If you are a contractor, so I can just type contractor or type the code based on the data that is being set up. If you're contractor, I want this to be displayed in yellow. If you are an expatriate, so expatriate, I would like this to be displayed in, based on the requirement, I think I put it as blue. And if you are, I would add another one, if you are an apprentice, then I would like to have the color displayed as orange, as an example. So I've done my color coding here. I will just say create. So now we have conditional formatting of the org chart boxes based on a field, based on the value of a field. And the second thing comes is the icon. So I will go ahead and also select the employee class. And I can either use an existing icon mapping. I've already created this one. And just to show you how this looks like, it's as such. If I am a contractor, then display this image. This is the image I've uploaded in the previous step. If you're an expatriate, then use this image, which is also created in the previous step. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Once you're done, and I'm going to pause for questions after we do this configuration. Once you're done, you can go ahead and do create. And now we have a new view which is created called employee class. So let's have a look at the front end to see what this looks like after I've done my changes. So on the front end, I'm going to load the front end application. I'm logging in as Jens Bayer, who is an HRBP. So I do have access to the employee analytics view, including this template that I've just created. By the way, this application that you see, this data that you see here, this is coming live from our SuccessFactors Employee Central instance. Again, if you have SAP or Workday, you may have a different data model. You may have different types of data structures, but for now it's position management. So this is the data that I'm showcasing this demonstration on. You will see the view defined at the very end called employee class. This is the one I just created. And when you open it, you will see exactly the information that is here. So I have the position, name of the employee class value displayed here, and the employee analytics here. Now, it's no color coding because all of them are active, and I'm only coloring contractors, expats, etc. Let me navigate to the structure where I have this, where I've added some data to showcase this. Again, the data I've made it in SuccessFactors and used our SuccessFactors connector to pull it through Nakisa HR Suite. So you should be able to see the new information. So I believe it's under CHRO, under President, Bestron Americas, and under the structure here, I will navigate further down to President United States. All of these are active, so there's no color coding, but I added some use cases under a specific structure under Pedro. And then finally, under Timmy Hardy, you'll be able to see the changes that I've just done. So in this structure, I've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expatriate positions, indicated clearly with the blue background color, indicated with the expatriate icon. If you mouse over it, it will also tell you that this is an expatriate position. There are 3 contractors, again, defined with the contractor icon. Let me zoom in, maybe you can see it a little bit better. So this is the contractor icon, this is the expatriate icon. These are the different color coding. Apprentice is showing as orange, okay? So again, very powerful because you're able to do this with just a few simple clicks. You're able to do the color coding, formatting, icons, create a new view to meet your business requirements. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second to see if there are any questions related to this. And again, feel free to write your questions on the chat or just unmute yourself and yeah, ask away. I'll be happy to address them. Okay. Okay, so no questions. Okay, that's good. So one thing as well, maybe since we are here, you saw me navigate in order to get to the structure. There's an easier way to do it, which is to use the favorites icon. I'm going to have another office hours on some of the capabilities of Nakisa HR Suite from the front end perspective, but adding to favorites is a very important feature because instead of having to navigate and through a very complicated structure, I can actually just add this to a favorite. I will say this is Timmy's organization, and I can save it. And this will allow me to go directly from the favorite icons, charts, and then select the organization. So I don't have to always navigate from the very top. I can always directly reach it here. Okay. Of course, if on the filter panel as well, you know that already, I can very easily select my different types of employee classes. So here we have 3 contractors, we have 5 expatriates. So these are all my contractors and expatriates. I can drill down to find who these people are. I can select them. I can do some comparisons side by side. I can basically filter, slice and dice, drill down, and get to the information that I'm looking for. Okay. All right. So now let's go back to the presentation. So this is the result that we have, a custom view created for the business to meet their requirements and needs. And again, I think as we see the evolution of the workplace, and a lot of organizations are hiring contractors, I think it's important to be able to visually represent them in the chart and get a lot of analytics and KPIs based on that. So for example, here I'm showing span of control, headcount, total salary. So I can see the salaries of these contractors. and I can then make decisions. Is it maybe more economic as an organization to hire them internally, or maybe find another way to maybe reduce costs if I need to, etc. So again, there's a lot of insights from these KPIs that are shown together with the different types of information, such as employee class.